Crossroads Cultural Connections is delighted to bring you a retelling of the Charles Dickens classic, A Christmas Carol. While the original was first published on December 19, 1843, this retelling sets the classic story of Ebenezer Scrooge in the 1940s in the Quad Cities. We hope you enjoy A Quad City Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens and adapted by Tom Akers. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 1, A Man Apart to Himself. The Chippeonic Cemetery. A row of headstones stand. A teenage boy enters and looks around as he drinks from a bottle. He steps up to one of the gravestones and stares at it for a while. He raises the bottle to his lips and makes a toast.
In remembrance of the 12 of you who died on that Christmas Eve. And to you, Jacob Marley, dead going on 7 years. You're the one responsible for their deaths. Well, one part, anyway. I hope you are rotting in your own grave. And to the spirits of Christmas, may you come and curse the other half of this pair, so that in a year's time, I'll be spitting on 2 graves instead of the one. To the demise of Ebenezer Scrooge.
A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 1, A Man Apart to Himself. We are now in downtown Moline on Christmas Eve morning.
Nothing better than Christmas Eve morning. A crisp wind rushing down the river from up north. Hope the snow holds out. Don't want another blizzard like in 41. We were still recovering from Pearl Harbor, and then that blizzard hit with another punch in the gut. No siree, nothing like it. The streets full of people, rushing to and fro. Last-minute gifts, the stores are full. Montgomery Ward, the line is out the door for Santa Claus. If that doesn't suit you, the J.C. Penney Santas will have to do. And the shops, why, they're bursting with shoppers, getting the right things for Christmas dinner tomorrow. It's been this way since Case settled their labor dispute. And John Deere, well, they've been going great guns since the war started. Everything is still not the same as it was after the crash. Shanty towns are still filled to the gills, as well as Catholic charities. I take that back. There is one thing that is still the same as it was.
Oh, keep your head low, friend. You mustn't meet his stare. Oh, keep your head low, friend. You mustn't meet his stare. Scrooge.
Beware the shadow of this man. The beast of 12th Street be his name. He'll steal your Christmas joy, friend. He'll leave you nothing but your shame.
Scrooge.
You dare not say his name out loud, lest you draw his eye. For if his gaze falls upon you, friend, it's said that you will die.
Scrooge. Oh, keep your head low, friend. It's said his soul is dead. Oh, keep your head low, friend. It's said his soul is dead. Scrooge.
He'll loan you what you need and demand it back on time. If not, beware his shadow, friend, or what's yours will soon be mine.
His father left him Christmas morn, a wound to any child's heart. 2 boys was she left to care for, a bitter cut that left a deep scar.
Scrooge. Oh, keep your head low, friend. He'll thieve your Christmas cheer. Oh, keep your head low, friend. He'll thieve your Christmas cheer. Scrooge.
Look, ere he comes with hat and cane, a colder soul ne'er lived. If you dare say his name, whisper it, friend, for it will only bring you dread.
Scrooge. Oh, keep your head low, friend. His name you dare not say. Oh, keep your head low, friend. His name you dare not say.
What is my name?
Scrooge.
Bah, humbug.
Good morning, Mr. Scrooge.
I can see while the cat is away, the mouse will play.
Yesterday's receipts have been prepared, sir. We were merely sharing a bit
Of good cheer, of Christmas spirit.
Yes, sir.
Does that make us any more money than we had at the close of business yesterday?
No, sir.
Then I am guessing, unless the clerks under your supervision would like me to mention to the draft board that their status has changed, I would suggest we forego the frivolities and return to work.
Sir, this may be an inopportune time to ask this. We were wondering if we could leave a bit early today, being that it is Christmas Eve and all the other businesses will be closing in the afternoon.
You were wondering. Is that the same for all of you? And I suppose you will want tomorrow off as well? I suppose once the daily receipts are complete, the ledgers brought up to date, and the deposits made, I should dismiss you and your clerks to go celebrate. Is that correct, Mr. Cratchit?
It would seem appropriate, sir. There is nothing else to do, as everything else is closing at noon, and far be it for you to wish to pay us for dawdling about.
That may be your strongest point yet, Cratchit. It would appear I do that enough.
Yes, sir.
I would like you to perform one more task for me before you are all released.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge?
You are aware of the stack of foreclosure notices which are sitting on my desk?
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
As tomorrow is the 25th of December and the banks are closed as well as the postal service, not to mention the public outcry which would be offered if I delivered them on Christmas Day, I would like you, all of you, to deliver them personally to the homes listed on the address.
But, Mr. Scrooge, it's Christmas Eve.
Their unions should have planned better than to go on strike, forcing their workers to take out loans. Were we not happy to oblige them in their time of need? Well, now, as it has been settled, it is time to pay the piper.
They won't be able to do anything about it until the 26th at the earliest, sir.
The fact that everything shuts down for a fabled, meaningless holiday is not my issue. Marley and Scrooge will continue to function. If you and your clerks would like to leave early, then you may, once you've delivered the notices.
Very well, sir.
So be it. I will also expect you all here on the 26th, and on time.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring.
Merry Christmas, sir! Would you like to drop some coins in our cup for the poor?
Oh, just a moment. By chance, did you pass by a constable while you were out?
We did, sir, down the block.
Good. Then it won't take me long to fetch him to get you people off my property.
But, sir, we simply try to share a bit of the Christmas cheer.
That's the problem. You assume that every person sees this Christmas fiasco in the same overzealous manner that you do.
Yes, we do. Why would you not, sir?
How presumptuous of you all. Has it ever occurred to you that you should keep Christmas to yourselves and allow the rest of us to keep to ourselves? Regardless of which, I demand you vacate my premises or I'll fine that constabulary. Good day and good riddance.
By all means, sing. Sing so the boys overseas can hear you. Don't let old Scrooge stop you now.
Humbug.
Hello, Uncle. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, Mr. Cratchit, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
Merry Christmas.
For a group who not just an hour ago wished to be released from their work early, you are all testing my patience and good cheer.
Apologies, sir.
Oh, Uncle, the day anyone accuses you of being of good cheer will be the day the Mississippi freezes over and I skate across to Davenport.
What do you want, nephew?
I am here once again, as I have been in the past, to invite you to my home for Christmas dinner tomorrow.
And I, in response to every invitation, will decline your invitation.
As I thought your answer would be, Uncle. I also brought you a present.
Another frivolity in which this confounded holiday demands.
Uncle, why don't you join Judith and I for dinner?
I don't see why. What has Christmas ever given me? Or you, for that matter? Loss, that's what. A day built around giving and celebrating is nothing other than a cruel facade.
Uncle Scrooge, if that were true, wouldn't you think that I would be the equal to you in denouncing the day? It's been 25 years since my father passed away while I was still a boy. I have no bitterness towards the day, and neither should you.
My brother, the hero, the volunteer, the never-ending reminder that no good deed goes unpunished.
Uncle, the two events are not even related. He wanted to right the great injustice in Europe, to put an end to the Germans. His catching the Spanish flu was completely apart from that.
And look at us now. Another war in Germany, another Christmas of orphans. So many wasted lives to celebrate a wasted day.
I don't count it as wasted, Uncle.
Your father could have worked on the arsenal, could have done anything, except he chose to go over there, and his choice left you and your mother alone with nothing but a medal to remember him by.
He very well may have still become ill, Uncle. The sacrifices she endured were something she never regretted either, up until the day she died.
If he had survived, I have no doubt he'd have suffered the same fate as his namesake.
Regardless, Uncle, won't you please open your gift?
Nicely crafted. Which store did you pick it up in so I can return it?
Judith knitted it for you. Things are a bit tight this year. The Fort Armstrong Theater is not doing as well as we'd liked.
Could it be the lead actor's doing?
Possibly, Uncle. Perhaps poor timing. Maybe not enough distance from the woes of the past few years. Either way, things are tight, so Judith took it upon herself to make our gifts this year.
I told your mother it was pointless for you to study the theater. I told her to direct you in a more profitable direction.
Why? So I could be as cutthroat as a certain loan officer I know is? Regardless, Uncle, I have more ground to cover on this blessed eve. Know that you are welcome at our home tomorrow. We eat at 1 o'clock and would be glad to have you.
Don't wait for me.
Good day, Uncle Scrooge, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Bob, and the rest of you.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
Now you're starting to pick up the Christmas spirit. Cratchit, come here. I need a letter drafted.
Mr. Scrooge, I am on the verge of balancing. Is it all possible for me to assign one of the clerks to take your dictation?
Oh, no, my dear young man. This is a very important letter and needs the best of penmanship.
Very well, sir.
To the Honorable Mayor A. Henry Arp. This past December 24th, I was accosted by a group of individuals bent on disturbing the public order by walking up and down the block of 15th Street and 4th Avenue, singing and carrying on. I am fully cognizant of the fact that it is the Christmas holiday. However, businesses are still open, and while the economic crisis is slowly ebbing away, I would like to caution you that some of the businesses in the Moline district are attempting to generate revenue and would like you to consider enforcing the ordinances against such disturbing of the public. Sincerely, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Is that all, sir?
That should do it. Now, 3 copies, 1 for the mayor, carbon copy for the chief of police, and the head of the city council.
Very well, sir. Is this something I can complete when we return?
Oh, no. This will be done before you leave this evening, Cratchit. 3 perfect copies, without a smudge on them. I want them on their desks first thing in the morning on the 26th.
But it's going on 1 o'clock, sir.
Then you best work promptly, my dear young man. You still have foreclosure letters to deliver. You're lucky I kept it to such brevity, sir.
Pardon us, is Mr. Marley present?
It would be a neat trick if he was, sister.
Oh, is he out celebrating Christmas?
It is hard to say, sister.
Why is that?
Do they celebrate the holiday in what I presume is hell? Marley has been dead for 7 years today.
Oh, my apologies. We saw the name on the sign and presumed all was well. You must be Scrooge.
All is well, sister, and yes, I am.
Mr. Scrooge, we represent the Catholic Charities of the Quad Cities.
I presumed so, sister. Now, what do you want?
It is that time of year, Mr. Scrooge, as the past years have proven, when families are struggling to make ends meet and provide even the slightest bit of Christmas for their children.
Pardon me, sister. Are there not vacancies in the shanty towns? Last I checked, there were. Mr. Cratchit here can pull up the ledger and see what is available.
Not necessary. Sister, Mr. Scrooge here is the architect of the shanty towns.
Oh.
Mr. Scrooge here is part of why we are so busy this time of year. Sisters.
I provide a living environment for those who require more affordable housing and factories for those who wish to work.
Not all of us can afford to live in the Overlook neighborhood, Mr. Scrooge, and your factories barely provide a living wage. The two seem related, Mr. Scrooge.
You should try it, Mother Superior. It may very well improve your perspective of this time of year.
So you won't give to help the needy and those less fortunate?
Those less fortunate need to learn to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. This is America, the land of opportunity where, even in the most difficult times, if you have enough desire and fortitude...
Do you not have 1 ounce of compassion, Ebenezer? Do you not have any recollection of those who guided you and provided for you to become who you are today? Do you...
I have an abundance of compassion in comparison to the one who stands before me. I recall everything, and if my recollection is correct, Mother Superior, and I believe it is, humiliation is not generosity, pity is not compassion, and abuse is not guidance. The only lessons I may have been taught are those of perseverance, want, and bitterness, all taught at the hands of a very harsh hand. Good day, sisters.
Mother, we have many stops to go to, and I fear there is a fog rolling in from the river. Mr. Scrooge, we shall pray for you and your former partner's soul. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Do what you like, sister. I can't stop you.
Merry Christmas, sisters.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Humbug.
Marley stands in the street in the fog. Scrooge catches a glimpse of Marley and stares out the window. Mr. Scrooge, sir.
Yes, what is it?
We're done with everything. Here are your receipts, sir, and...
The letters?
Yes, sir. May we go, sir?
Very well.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 1, A Man Apart to Himself. Scrooge is home in the wealthy part of Moline. The bedroom is set with a bed, fireplace, high-backed chair, table, a telephone on a table by the wall, and a standing lamp. A bowl of soup sits on the table, along with a piece of bread with cheese. Bessie is setting Scrooge's bed. Scrooge's car is heard pulling in.
Good evening, Mr. Scrooge. Why, Mr. Scrooge, you look as if you've seen a ghost.
Not only one, Bessie, but one in the same 3 times over.
Who was that, sir?
You'll think me mad.
Not any more than normal, sir. Go on, before your dinner gets cold. Sir?
Marley, Bessie. I've seen Marley 3 times just this afternoon. Once in the fog outside of my office. Once across the street, parked in his old Packard. And finally, and I can't believe I'm saying this,
Go on, sir.
in the door knocker just as I entered the house this evening. See, I told you so.
Oh, Mr. Scrooge, I've been your housekeeper for longer than I can remember. Don't you think I know Mr. Marley passed on this very night? And that the two of you were as thick as thieves, you were. You don't spend that much time with someone without remembering them on the night they passed. It's just your mind remembering your partner, that's all.
Perhaps you're right, Bessie. But they all seemed so real.
The knocker, sir?
It called out to me, Scrooge, Scrooge.
You're just hungry, sir. That's what it is. Sit down and eat your soup before it gets any colder than it already is.
Of course, that's what it is. I was so distracted at work today by all of the nuisances wishing me Merry Christmas and singing and all that I didn't have time to finish my work or eat.
Of course, sir. Now, I would like to request half the day tomorrow, if that's all right with you. I'd like to celebrate the holiday, but still get you your evening meal. You don't have plans, do you?
I plan to stay locked inside for the day and avoid as many of these addled fools as humanly possible.
That's why I've left you a cold breakfast for the morning, and I'll be around to make your evening dinner, sir.
Why can't I have more like you surrounding me, Bessie?
Eat your supper, Mr. Scrooge. It'll chase away the Marleys. Good night, Mr. Scrooge.
Good night, Bessie.
Scrooge takes off his suit jacket and vest while putting on a nightcoat. He sits in the chair and begins to eat his soup. A mouse creeps into the room.
I suppose I am to be interrupted on the pathetic night by even the rodents,
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Be that a carol? What carol would you sing? Away in a manger? No. Silent Night? No. What say you, mouse? Do you sing for the cheer of Christmas, or do you sing in the hope of my Christmas spirit affording you a bit of this cheese and bread?
The mouse turns towards Scrooge, paws up, looking hopeful.
Aha! You, my good sir, have tipped your hand too soon. You're all the same. Christmas. Bah! Humbug! It's only to profit yourself on either goods or in self-affirmation. If only you had a cat to join you in your...
Scrooge! Ebenezer Scrooge!
Marley? Marley? It cannot be. Bessie! Bessie!
No one to save you, my dear partner, not even a mouse.
Go away, whoever you are. I shall call the constabulary.
Then they will lock you up in the asylum, for the apparition you can see can only be seen by Ebenezer Scrooge.
What do you want?
It is not what I want, Ebenezer. It is what I give that matters.
Fine, then give it, whatever it be, and leave me be.
If only it was that simple, Ebenezer, but it's not.
But it is. 7 years you've been dead. Why did you come before me tonight? Why not the first year? Or the second? Why the seventh?
Ebenezer, if I were to make the rules, do you think I would be here? I am not here on my own volition, Ebenezer. I was sent here.
By who? Why?
I was summoned. Those 7 years I have laid in my grave. And today I am summoned and given this labor.
What labor, Marley? What did you leave undone? Speak it and I'll make it so. We were partners through it all. The fall in 29, the bank runs, the faults.
And we turned a profit at each turn, Ebenezer. And for every turn a link was added to these chains, all to be carried for eternity, Ebenezer. with only one solace.
Say it, Jacob.
The only ease being that I know yours to be longer and heavier, unless...
Unless what? Unless what, Marley?
Unless a man can become rejoined to himself.
Rejoined to himself? Rejoined? You speak in riddles, Jacob. How am I to save myself from eternal damnation if I have to solve an impossible riddle? Speak to me, Marley, speak to me.
My message has been delivered to you, Ebenezer. My task is done.
It's not done, Jacob. Please, solve the riddle. A clue. Give me a sounder clue.
3 ghosts to come tonight, each with a clue, Ebenezer. And I pray you listen, and I pray even harder that you hear. Good night, Ebenezer.
Jacob, don't leave me. When will the ghosts come?
Be it at midnight, Ebenezer, and pray you are ready. Eat, for you will need your strength. Good night, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Marley, come back.
The mouse scurries back out, looks around, and grabs the bread and cheese, looks at Scrooge, and runs back into his hole. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 2, Albeit Unto Himself. Ebenezer Scrooge is dressed in his nightshirt and robe. A lamp by his bedstand is on. He looks around frightened. He checks under the bed, quickly climbs in, and pulls the covers up. He looks at the alarm clock on the table.
11 o'clock. 1 hour to go, Spirit. Although Marley was never good with time, perhaps he meant 11, or possibly 1. Perhaps he had become better as a spirit. Marley, are you there? Of course not. It was all a vision. What did Bessie say it was? A hunger pang. A vision because I was hungry. Now go to sleep, Ebenezer. Tomorrow might be the only day of peace you get. Ha! The only benefit of this cursed day. Well then, I should get my rest. Good night, Jacob. Good night, spirits.
The mouse appears carrying "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and the last bit of cheese.
Good night, mouse.
The mouse bows to Scrooge in return.
I shall deal with you in the morning.
Ebenezer!
Mother, 5 more minutes, please.
Ebenezer, it's time.
Can't William do it?
No, my dear, only you can.
You sounded just like her.
The shadows of the past are what I am here for, Ebenezer, and this is one of the fondest of the memories I could provide you.
But Jacob said I shall be visited by 3 ghosts. You were the first ghost, and fondness is what you bring me? How will this be the force that brings about change?
Oh, I am but a glimpse. There will be 2 who follow me, Ebenezer, who may have other visions for you.
Then if you are the least of my worries, then bring on your visions, Spirit. Let us hence.
Yes, let us hence.
I cannot fly or travel in the same way as you, Spirit. Am I to drive?
Just grab on to me, Ebenezer, but put on your robe.
Again, you sound like my mother, Spirit.
Do it, or you'll be sorry.
Scrooge puts on his robe and takes a hold of the ghost of Christmas past. Scrooge's mother is seen on her hands and knees. It is the last day of the first semester at Our Lady of Lourdes. Young Scrooge sits reading, waiting for his mother.
Where are we, Spirit? Wait, I know this place. Our Lady of Lord's School.
And you know that child?
I do. And Mother? My mother, Spirit?
It's the day of Christmas break, Ebenezer. You were...
12, Spirit.
It was the only way she could get you and your brother into the school. Employees were given a reduction in tuition.
She worked so hard to get William and I into the school. William?
Well, well, well. If it isn't Ebenezer Scrooge.
You know, Ebenezer, school's out for Christmas.
Oh, but you can't leave, can you? That's right, you have to wait for your mommy to finish scrubbing the floors, don't ya?
A student picks up a trash basket and steps to young Scrooge.
Why don't you get off your rear and help her,
That way you can get home and open your gifts.
I'm guessing they're too poor for gifts.
The student picks up the trash basket and dumps it on young Ebenezer.
Oh no, what a mess you made!
You don't want your mommy to have to come and clean up after you, do ya?
No. Maybe one of us should take a leak on the floor. Your mom would appreciate that, wouldn't she?
If you do, it'll be the last thing you leak on.
William grabs the boy by the arm and bends it behind him.
Ow, 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 stop, stop.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Weller?
We were merely having a little bit of fun with our friend Ebenezer before Christmas break.
That isn't quite true. Mother Superior, they were abusing my brother.
Why would we do that, Mother Superior? We think of Ebenezer here as one of our dearest friends. I think William here walked in at the wrong time and completely misunderstood what was happening.
I think I knew exactly what was happening.
Well, it appears that someone is lying with only a few days to go before the birth of our beloved Savior.
Did I mention that my father and the bank was preparing to drop off a sizable donation for the school and for Catholic Charities, Mother Superior?
William, you seem to be the most adamant about these boys wanting to do harm to Ebenezer. Hold out your hand. Now tell me the truth, William.
I am telling you the truth, Mother Superior.
Tell me the truth, boy.
I am telling you the truth, Mother Superior.
You may leave, Mr. Weller. You and the others. I will handle this. Tell your father I look forward to his donation and seeing him on Christmas morning.
Ow!
William's knuckles were so raw and cut up he could hardly close his hands for days.
But that's not all, is it, Ebenezer? Your mother heard William's screams and came to see what was happening and moved to protect him and you. She lost her job that day. You never went back to Our Lady of Lords, did you?
No, Spirit. You were supposed to be showing me moments of Christmases past. Why are you showing me this?
Because, Ebenezer, do you recall the Christmas of this year?
Yes. We still had a few presents, and Mother still managed to give us a good Christmas meal, better than most.
Your brother was always your defender, and your mother your provider, Ebenezer. And the cruelty of the circumstances didn't alter that. We must go. Time is rushing by. Take my arm.
Scrooge does, and they arrive at Fezziwig's. Young adult Scrooge, Marley, and the other clerks are gathered at a long table working and waiting.
Spirit, is that...
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 o'clock! Lock the door and hide the key.
Oh, those times at Fezziwig's were some of the best. A horrible businessman, but...
You don't seem to be too concerned about it.
A tradition he held every year until the Depression shut him down. And he died. He would make merry on Christmas Eve. The moment the banks closed, he would close and have a party for all of us to celebrate the year.
Before we get too carried away, and by the taste of it, that shan't be too far in the future. My dear, come here now.
Now, Mr. Fezziwig, don't make this take too long. They all have somewhere else much more meaningful to be than here.
You are correct, as always, my dear. Before you all go to the direction of the wind, a toast to you and to yours this holiday season. May you make merry for the sake of merriment, and may you find the joy and fulfillment intended in this, the most blessed of holidays. Hear, hear!
Hear, hear!
Make merry for the sake of merry, his one downfall, Spirit.
Is generosity a downfall, Ebenezer?
It is when done in frivolity like this. Where were all of these clerks whom he invited to make merry when he needed them? Did they take him in then? Did they loan him what he needed to stay afloat?
Did you?
I did. Both Marley and I bailed him out.
At an extremely fair interest rate, I'm sure.
It was business. Fezziwig understood.
There you are, Ebenezer. Why are you off alone? You heard Fezziwig. Let's make merry.
Every year, Fezziwig makes merry. And who does it benefit? You? All you do is end up celebrating Christmas with your family in a fog from making merry.
And what about you? Your lips are pursed so tightly, I doubt you can even get a drink between them.
Here's to Fezziwig, a kindred spirit and a kinder soul you will not find.
To that future, Ebenezer, and to Christmas.
To the future, my friend.
Ebenezer, Jacob, a toast to my two best clerks. Well, I'm fully aware I shall not keep you long. I only hope that when we become competitors, you shall remember the Fezziwigs with fondness. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas, Fezziwig. Ma'am.
Now, my lads, the hour is short, and the spirits of Christmas are about to make magic across the world. Another great year, lads, and we truly appreciate you all for it. A gift from Mrs. Fezziwig and I to show our appreciation for another great year. Merry Christmas to all!
I'm not sure you are correct on that point, Ebenezer. The only thing apparent to me is that Fezziwig understood Christmas and generosity over profit.
If you have more to show me, Spirit, then show me.
Of this you are correct. Our time together is dwindling, Ebenezer. Grab my arm.
Belle is sitting on a park bench. A young Ebenezer is standing, looking out at the river.
No, Spirit, not this.
It's almost done, Ebenezer.
You can hardly see the differences between the cities over there.
It is a prosperous time, yes.
That it is, my sweet. I do love to watch the beauty of the river as the ice tries to overcome it.
It is the battle you enjoy, Ebenezer, not the beauty.
It's only the results of the battle that matter, my dear. Belle, what is troubling you on this eve?
Ebenezer, it has become apparent that over these years, that another has replaced me in your heart.
Nonsense. My faithfulness has never wavered, my dear. Who do you think has drawn my desire?
You have given your heart to the pursuit of wealth, Ebenezer.
This is simply a dealing of the world, my sweet. Look around you. We are in the golden time. These cities are for the taking. I would ask, would you rather scrape by and hope the next paycheck is enough?
You fear the world too much, Ebenezer. I've watched over the years as all you used to be has been chipped away, as a block of marble is chipped away by a sculptor until only one thing is left, Ebenezer. And I am not that one thing.
My sweet, even though I have grown so much the wiser, my feelings towards you have never wavered.
Haven't they?
Can you honestly say that you would rather live in the poverty we shared when I worked at Fezziwig's? Do you want to go back to that life?
If it means having you back as a whole, Ebenezer, my answer would be yes. You were so much more back then.
I was a boy then. Today I am a man. A self-made man.
Ebenezer, I will admit I too was enamored with what your success has brought us. The things that you have provided me, few others could. However, there is more that I require than...
Then tell me, my love. Tell me, and I will work harder to provide it. I will dam this river so that it stands still for you, if that is what you want.
I have no doubt you would, Ebenezer, but at the very cost of what I truly need from you. And that is my answer. I'm sorry, Ebenezer. I'm sorry.
Belle stands and hands the ring out to young Ebenezer, who looks at her, then turns to watch the river. Belle leaves the ring on the bench.
Enough, spirit. Take me home and torture me no more.
We've one more stop, Ebenezer.
No more, spirit. I can take no more after this.
A brief stop is left, and then our time is done.
The ghost of Christmas Past holds her arm out. Ebenezer stares at young Ebenezer one last time, then grabs the ghost of Christmas Past's sleeve. They arrive as Belle sits in a chair, watching out of the window.
I know where we are, spirit, but tell me what the circumstances are.
It's Christmas Eve, Ebenezer.
Belle?
Yes, Father? Is it true then?
It is. He didn't come into work. So Scrooge himself went to his house and found him.
No, spirit, not that day.
Then Marley and Scrooge are no more, and with it the last vestige of hope for my Ebenezer Scrooge.
What does she mean by that, spirit?
She always hoped and wished that Marley would be able to bring you back from the edge of the chasm of greed, which you balanced on, and the day Marley left, she knew.
Knew, spirit? Knew what?
I walked by his office right before coming home and glanced inside through the window, just for a moment.
And what did you see? Tell me, Papa.
I saw him standing in the middle of the office, his hair unkempt. He was just staring into what I presume was Marley's side of the office. But it was the look on his face, Belle. Lost would be too generous a word to describe what I saw in Ebenezer Scrooge's face. He was
a man, albeit unto himself.
I beg of you, spirit, take me home. There is nothing more you can do to me tonight. I can go no further into the depths of my past or my soul.
Very well, Ebenezer. Our time is up. But I caution you, there is more for you to endure before the sun rises. The next spirit will come to you at 1 o'clock.
Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 3, A River to Cross. We begin in Scrooge's bedroom. A mouse enters, now wearing a red scarf. It strolls and sits with a pipe and a paper. Scrooge snores loudly and wakes himself up. He sits up in bed, searching the room. He gets out of bed and takes his bathrobe off of the chair and puts it on. He nervously searches the room and notices the mouse.
I presume you are not the next spirit? Perhaps Marley was wrong. Perhaps the sender of the spirits has decided that one spirit was enough, and I am duly rehabilitated.
The mouse looks at Scrooge incredulously.
You are correct, my friend. Not even I can believe that. 1 o'clock and no spirit. Did I prove so incorrigible that they have given up? Will the clock turn 5 more minutes? 10?
Ebenezer Scrooge! Ebenezer Scrooge! Come and know me better. I have to tell you, this pizza is worth our time together, Ebenezer. Oh, that's right. You haven't tried this, have you? Here, Ebenezer, try this. Go on, try it.
This is wonderful, spirit. But what am I to call you?
Well, I am the ghost of Christmas present, Ebenezer. Come and know me better, man.
Seriously, this is really good, spirit.
You will need to wait a few years, but it's coming. Now, Ebenezer, our time together is not long, so we must leave.
Spirit, take me where you will. I went forth last night with your predecessor and learned a lesson. Now, if you are here to teach me a second lesson, let me profit from it.
Then take hold of me and we shall begin.
Scrooge takes a hold of the ghost of Christmas present. Before they exit, the ghost looks at the mouse, who is watching them. The ghost takes a small piece of pizza and hands it to the mouse.
So many people, Spirit, all rushing. How can the claim be made that this day is merry?
Yes, Ebenezer, on their way to and from church, or to celebrate the day with each other. You may have missed that nary a harsh word was shared between any of them.
Your words are true, Spirit. Be it your Christmas light that makes them so affable to one another?
No, Ebenezer. What you have failed to learn from my cousin is the occasion brings forth its own merriment, and for one day out of the year.
Merry Christmas, my dear.
Merry Christmas, my love.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Well, Merry Christmas, Tim. How was church this morning?
It was good, Mother. Father Burns brought me up to the altar for part of the sermon.
Did he now?
Father Burns is merely illustrating the joy of the holiday, and regardless of our station in life, we must remember to find the joy of Christmas as I do. He wanted everyone to remember that it was Jesus who healed the lame and the blind, and we should remember that as we celebrate his birth today.
A truer statement could not be made. And you, dear, look rather festive for having been up most of the night.
The clerks do know how to make merry, don't they? Thank you, my dear, for playing host each year to them. For some, it's the only Christmas they are given.
The joy it brings is worth the burden, my love.
What does she speak of, Spirit?
For the past 7 years, since you expanded your business, Bob Cratchit has held a Christmas party for all of the clerks under your employment. It's quite an undertaking, since his salary is not as generous as it could be.
His wages are comparable. All things being equal, he should be grateful for having a job.
You asked, Ebenezer, and I answered.
Has Martha arrived?
Oh, she sent a message that she will be unable to attend as to the fact that she was called into the work at the factory.
The poor dear.
Apparently, you are not the only one to work for such a humbug.
I cannot carry on the ruse anymore, Mother. I'm right here, Papa. Merry Christmas.
The perfect timing for revealing of the joke, my dear. Merry Christmas.
All right now, everyone come to the kitchen and help me carry.
A finer bird we could not imagine. Sit down, everyone. Mother, a finer feast could not be had, even with the Roosevelts.
I never realized all that Cratchit bore on his plate.
Did you ever inquire, Ebenezer?
What happens to Tim, Spirit?
I see a Christmas in the near future when a chair sits empty and a crutch is unused. There is only so much Lutheran Hospital is able to do for a boy with Tim's condition and the family's resources.
What could be done to save the boy?
A surgery is available for Tiny Tim, but it can only be done at Mercy Hospital.
Then curse Bob Cratchit for wasting his money on a party for the clerks. He should be...
He and his family know that regardless of whether they celebrate with the clerks or not, it won't change the fact that they will not be able to raise the funds for Tim's surgery. Ebenezer, the world does not work as you see it. It works as the way that it is seen by those who choose to live in it. The Cratchits make merry, for they know that soon they may not have each other to make merry with. And there is nothing that can be done about it, Ebenezer. Not by them, anyway.
A pause before the pudding is served, and a brief one at that. For if it is as good as it smells, it will be the capstone of the day. Having all of us together another year is truly a blessing. Mother, the feast is more than anyone could ask for. And lastly, a toast to the founder of the feast, to Ebenezer Scrooge.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure. A day on which one drinks to the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows more than you.
Mother, Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and for the day's, but not for his. Not for his. I'm sure he is having a Merry Christmas and will have a Happy New Year, no doubt.
Spirit, if my lesson is presented here, I would like to move on to the next course.
Very well, Ebenezer.
Scrooge reaches out and takes the Ghost of Christmas Present's sleeve, but meets Mrs. Cratchit's glare for a second. The next stop, Fred, Judith, Tony, Maria, Richard, and Patricia. Music is heard in the background as Fred's laughter is also heard.
Is there anyone that you know who is more blessed with a laugh on Christmas Day, even though their circumstances do not warrant it?
He said Christmas is a humbug as I live.
All I'm saying is, if you were to introduce him to me, I believe I could cultivate a laugh out of him.
Humbug. You celebrate Christmas your way, and I'll celebrate it mine.
More shame for him, Fred.
Why would he be such a Scrooge if he is as wealthy as you say he is?
Oh, he's beyond wealth, Patty. I would say he'd be in competition with the Lynns.
What of it? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself more comfortable with it. And he sure doesn't have the satisfaction of thinking he is ever going to benefit us with it. Why, Judith blessed him with a hand-knitted scarf. A beautiful item. And do you know what his only response was?
What was it, Fred?
Tell me where you bought it so that I can return it.
Oh, I have no patience for him.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers from his ill whims? He does. He refuses to join us every year, and he is the lesser for it. Certainly not us.
There are many times I see his father in him, Spirit.
How so?
He has the same outlook. After our father left us, that first Christmas after father left and mother lost her job at Our Lady, William somehow managed to produce the smallest of gifts and led the house with cheer that day. I miss him, Spirit.
You had nothing to do with him when he was on this earth, Ebenezer.
It doesn't mean I didn't believe the world to be a better place with him in it. Same as Fred. Look at him. His theater on the verge of going under, and he's celebrating the day as if he hadn't a care in the world.
And that's the spirit of the day, Ebenezer.
I know, let's play a game.
Oh, I have the perfect one.
What's it called?
It's called Yes or No. I shall think of something, and you must all ask a question to which I will answer either yes or no.
Oh, let's do it. Yes, okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Is it a person?
No.
Is it a beast, then?
Yes.
Is it a friendly beast?
No.
Then it's a ferocious beast. Let me see. Is it a bear?
No.
A wolf?
No.
A badger.
No.
I know what it is.
What?
There's only one beast my love would ever choose. Uncle Scrooge.
No, it couldn't be. Yes, of course it was.
Be him beast or not, join me in raising a glass to my Uncle Scrooge. It would be ungrateful of us to not drink to his health. To Uncle Scrooge, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
To
Uncle Scrooge.
How dare they disparage me as the butt of their game and then drink to my well-being? This is why I have never crossed his doorstep.
What did you do with Judith's present, Ebenezer?
What? I threw it in the closet of my office. I don't see how that is either the cause or effect of what just happened.
You discarded it as if it were a scrap of tape coming off your stock ticker, and in front of Fred, no less.
I've never given him cause to give me presents or reciprocation.
How many children do Fred and Judith have?
William, 1.
They have 3. Yet he delivers a gift and an invitation every year to you. Yet they make all guests wait 10 minutes, hoping you will grace them with your presence. Yet, Ebenezer, they toast you. We have another stop, Ebenezer.
There is no need, Spirit. I am fully ruined and only wish to know what I must do to make amends.
My course is set, Ebenezer.
Where could we possibly go next that would have any greater impact on me?
Tighten your robe, Ebenezer, and take my sleeve. We have a river to cross.
Scrooge grabs the Ghost of Christmas Present's hand, and they move into the night. The end of A Christmas Carol is heard as Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Present enter.
What is this place, Spirit?
Davenport, the shanty town owned by your former partner and you.
I fully comprehend the necessity of the first 2 visits, Spirit, but I fail to grasp the significance of this place.
11 years ago last night, you and Marley sent your thugs to this shanty town to force these people to pay their rent. And when they couldn't, a melee broke out. An oil barrel stove tipped over and...
It burned to the ground.
Killing 12 people, men, women, and children.
11 years and 1 night have passed since we lost those 12 to the avarice and greed of 2 men. I stand before you this morning just as sorrowful and remorseful as I did the morning after the fire. If I could go back, I would have never sold this land to those 2 men. Just as I did that morning, I beg for your continued grace. Pastor Milner.
Baylor sold us this land fair and square. He made quite the profit off of it, if I recall, and I do.
A long list of back permits and fines were presented to him, which, of course, had been collected and paid for by Marley and Scrooge.
Well within our rights, Spirit.
And then presented to Mr. Baylor to be paid, precisely at a time when taxes were due, and you conveniently knew he had no capital to pay both.
A wise maneuver.
A maneuver you and Marley did here in Bettendorf, Rock Island, and Moline.
Some would call it strategic.
Others would call it tragic.
Mr. Baylor, I can assure you that there was no malice towards you, as you were another victim of those 2 men, just as we were. However, on this beautiful Christmas morning, we are not to dwell on those responsible, but to remember those who passed that horrible night. Their faces and their memories shall never be forgotten. The joy they gave us, whether it be the ones who lived 40 years or 4. On this day, we remember the song we sang that morning amongst the ashes as we grieved their deaths, but still remembered the day, knowing that nothing could steal that away from any of us. Now, join hands as we did 11 years ago and raise your voices to be heard all the way across the river.
Christmas Day has come this morn, no time for sadness there to mourn. 'Tis on this day we sing this song, in remembrance of the souls there gone. But sing on high the gift of the King, lift your voices, hear them ring. On Christmas Day is here today, we won't let tears be in the way, to wish our loved ones here with us nigh, but know they rest with the Lord on high. We sing of joy so they may hear, and know they still be held so dear. O Christmas Day we gather here, not in anger, not in fear. We praise the Lord on this his day, and trust in him and in his way. So raise our voices all as one, and sing of joy so it will come. O Christmas Day has come this morn, no time for sadness ne'er to mourn. 'Tis on this day we sing this song, in remembrance of those who have gone. But sing on high the gift of the King, lift your voices, hear them ring.
Spirit, if it is easier, simply make me fully human in front of them, so they may exact their revenge upon me and end this nightmare.
Ebenezer, you have failed to comprehend my presence with you, and I fear you will pay for your ignorance for eternity.
Spirit, I beg you, show me what I have failed to understand. What have I missed in all three of these scenes of the day?
Ebenezer, I cannot do more than I have. My time on this earth is fading as we speak.
The shantytown boy approaches. Scrooge stares at him, and the answer is presented.
Spirit, I have found the answer. Spirit, tell me, what must I do to prove to the fates this revelation? That none of what you have shown me can be altered, and I must accept that and know what I am to be blamed for. However, what I must not accept is what my part will be played in the future, that I can change this present and my role in the future. Is that it, Spirit?
Ebenezer, I hope to the deepest core of my being that this feeling has burrowed into your heart, and it's not for me to answer. It is not for me to cast judgment upon your words, to see if they reveal enough to provide you a new heart.
Then who, Spirit? Who must I present my case? The third Spirit. Is that it, Spirit? Is that who my judge and possible executioner shall be?
Ebenezer, my time is done. He waits for you, and Ebenezer, I hope what you say will be enough, for if it is not, I know what your punishment will be. Ebenezer, the Spirit will know, and my advice is to not lie to him, for any falsehood and failed revelation will prove your end.
Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 4, Hope, Born of a Reckoning. A deep fog has rolled into the clearing as Scrooge stands alone, waiting for the coming of the third spirit.
Jacob, if you are out there and can hear this, regardless of the outcome of the next spirit, I want you to know I have changed. I will be different, Jacob. If given the chance, I will. But what can I do, Jacob? What atonement do the spirits require of me? Haven't I paid enough? The suffering of a family at the desertion of a father on this day, but yet I survived. The death of my brother on the eve of this day, yet I survived. And even you, Jacob, you abandoned me on this day, yet I survived. What other association am I to have with this day? What bond are these spirits asking me from on a day which has only known pain and suffering? What do you want from me, Jacob? Answer me. Answer me. You're the third spirit. I am told you're the one to provide judgment upon me, whether I shall see another Christmas or not. I see the rewards for a life lived such as mine are ready.
They are indeed, Ebenezer Scrooge.
I can tell you, Spirit, your predecessors have done their labors well. I stand before you a changed man. I know now that none of this has ever been about me, Spirit. Whether it's Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim, oh, Tiny Tim, or Fred and Judith, or yes, Spirit, the people of the shanty towns. I know I can do better by them, and by the spirits of Christmas I will do better by them, to make their lives better.
There is more required, Ebenezer, than your words, for it is not your words that have led you to this crossroads, is it? Now, take my cloak.
Yes, of course. I accept your offer, Spirit.
Scrooge gingerly takes the sleeve of the Ghost of Christmas Future. As thunder sounds, two businessmen step forward. Quite an obituary, wasn't it?
Oh, are you going to the funeral?
Only to make sure he's in the casket and we're rid of him.
Well, I'm going only if it promises a good meal after.
Who do they speak of, Spirit? Who would elicit such a response from them? Oh, Spirit, don't tell me. Bessie?
Don't drop those. That's a pair of Tiffany lamps.
I won't. His body's not even cold yet. Why the hurry?
I have to get what I can before they throw this in probate. I'm sure the old skinflint didn't have a will, and I'm not about to take a chance in not getting something out of the old man.
Bessie!
Compensation for services rendered, I'll call it.
Pain and suffering, you could call it.
You don't think they'll notice these things are gone?
Who'll care he's gone? 15 years I worked for him, and this is the first Christmas gift I've ever received from him.
Stop, Spirit. Your predecessors have made it obvious that I have been a scourge upon all I've touched. There's no need to continue. I am prepared to accept my fate.
Are you, Ebenezer? I have heard your denials, your excuses, your bargaining with the others. There will be no bargaining with me. Now, take my cloak. Our final stop is near.
Ebenezer and the Ghost of Christmas Future turn to see the shantytown boy step forward.
So this is it? The final torture? Whose headstone is it, Spirit? Marley's? No, of course not. Fred's. Would you torture me so?
In remembrance of the 12 of you who died on that Christmas Eve. And to you, Jacob Marley, dead going on 8 years.
It is Marley's grave. But why Marley's grave, Spirit? Unless...
And finally, your partner in crime. How fitting he lies next to you, as I hope you're shackled together in hell. The two of you responsible. I hope you are rotting in your own grave. And to the spirits of Christmas. I raise a toast to ye for living up to your side of the deal. To the death of Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, Spirit. After all I've been through this night, and this is how this pilgrimage ends? If that's the way it ends, then why did you waste the entire night and not just take me in my bed instead of torturing me? A cruel trick, Spirit. one last cruelty to Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, Spirit, I ask you for a second chance, a chance for me to make amends, Spirit. So much to do. What must I do to get one more year?
And what would you do with that year, Scrooge?
A year to prove that I am a changed man, Spirit. I implore you, sir, to invest in me one more year.
Ah, business proposition. And coming from a man who has refused hundreds in the name of return. Ebenezer, I ask you, to what return will I gain if I invest in you one more year?
Why? Oh, who is it, Spirit? No, tell me it isn't so.
It was his favorite time of year, my sweet.
He loved Christmas morning.
A finer Christmas you could not have made this year.
He would have loved it, Bob.
If I could beg you, Spirit, beg you on all that is holy, there is only one thing I wish you to tell me. My nephew Fred, almost bankrupt, the people of the shanty town decimated by the fire, and the Cratchits, the loss of their son, and they all still celebrate the day. Why, Spirit? How?
I still remember last Christmas, Mama. Do you remember? Father Burns brought old Tim up in front of the whole congregation and told him all about a Savior who could fix people if they just had faith. Old Tim just smiling up there for all to see. He told him that he gave him hope, and on a day like today, hope is all you need. How right you were, Tim, my boy. How right you were.
And that's what wins the day, Bob Cratchit.
Let's go home, Mama, and celebrate the day in honor of our tiny Tim.
To our tiny Tim.
And on all that is holy, Ebenezer Scrooge, that is your answer. Now, take your chains, sir.
Is that it then, Spirit? The end of Ebenezer Scrooge? The second Spirit said it was up to you as to my fate and Christmas future, and as I am not wearing shackles just yet, I assume the final judgment has yet to be made. If it be within your power, Spirit, I hope for you to not bestow upon Tiny Tim a reckoning unworthy of him. I would happily wear my shackles for 1,000 years if you just give the Cratchits one more Christmas with Tiny Tim. Please, Spirit, give him one more Christmas to give all who cross paths with him the hope of the day. I beg you, Spirit, let the boy live. If that not be within your power, Spirit, then forgo my reckoning, well earned, and provide me a reckoning of hope. Spirit, give me more time, I beg you. Give me the time not given to this boy, for me to give hope in his stead. I beg you, Spirit. I know now. I know now. I know now.
And Scrooge collapses at the headstone of Tiny Tim, weeping, alone. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 5, To Keep Christmas Well. It's Christmas morning. Scrooge tosses and turns and then sits up in a rush. The mouse sits sipping on a cup of coffee. Scrooge jumps out of bed and examines himself as he looks around frantically.
I'm awake. I'm awake. No chains, no locks. What day is it? If I could trouble you, Mr. Mouse, could you tell me the day? Of course not. Operator? Operator, what day is it, please? No, I'm not joking. No, I'm not crazy. Well, there is a possibility after the night I've had, my good lady. No, I'm not drunk. December 25th. Oh, thank you, and Merry Christmas, my dear. So much to do. So much to do. Perhaps I should get dressed first. Merry Christmas, Mouse. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sisters.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Here, for the Catholic Charities.
These are $100 bills. Mother Superior, these are $100 bills.
Decorum, sister.
Consider it a down payment, sister, with more coming in the next week.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge.
I know the two of us are long past reconciliation, Mother Superior. Far too much has transpired between the two of us.
Of that we can agree, Ebenezer.
However, as I have discovered, there is no circumstance which should prevent me from wishing you the joy of the day. Merry Christmas, Mother Superior.
Merry Christmas, Ebenezer.
Well, good day. There is merriment to be had and to be shared. Merry Christmas!
A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 5, To Keep Christmas Well. There is a knock at the door. Mary Cratchit steps forward and opens the door.
Oh, it's you.
Mary Cratchit, before you shut the door in my face, of which you are entirely entitled to by any and all rights, please allow me a moment. Is Bob at home?
No, he and our son Tim are at church.
Yes, of course, Christmas Day.
Your moment is passing, Mr. Scrooge. I am a mother, and it is Christmas Day.
Yes, of course. I am not going to attempt a feeble apology for the last 7 years of the mistreatment of your husband, Mrs. Cratchit. However, many years ago, on Christmas Eve, I lost my brother William to the Spanish flu, and while the significance of that event lay dormant for so many years, it has become apparent to me that I have significant resources to impact those around me.
What are you saying, Mr. Scrooge?
What I am saying, or attempting to say, Mrs. Cratchit, is... Here is a check. You will notice 2 things, Mrs. Cratchit. 1, that it is made out to Mercy Hospital, and 2, that it is blank. Please, Mrs. Cratchit, I know the pain of watching a loved one pass away when there is a lot of life left ahead of them. Use it, Mrs. Cratchit. May your son continue to be a light of hope for those around him for many Christmases to come.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Scrooge. Why?
Back pay, Mrs. Cratchit, and so that you may rush less this year. I have arranged a meal to be delivered precisely at noon. Hopefully Martha will be on time this year, ma'am. Enjoy the day. Now, if you will forgive me, I have more stops to make and little time to do it. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Cratchit.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
I would ask you a favor, Mrs. Cratchit.
And what would that be, Mr. Scrooge?
May I?
You may.
Scrooge whispers into Mary Cratchit's ear. Mary Cratchit listens, then nods her head.
Yes, that I will do, Mr. Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge exits as Mary Cratchit sits stunned, staring at the check. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 5, To Keep Christmas Well. The Chipeonix Cemetery. Scrooge enters and approaches Jacob Marley's headstone.
Well, old partner, while I have a moment yet today, I came to thank you for so much that I neglected you while you were with me. Thank you for the years of partnership, as I have come to realize were as foregone as they were misrepresented. What we could have done, Jacob, if only we'd known. Your suffering would not have been so. I would also like to thank you for sending the spirits, Jacob. While as painful as the metamorphosis was, I know that you were another recipient of their mercies. Rest easy, Jacob. I hope your chains are gone and that you've been set free of the pain of this life. Wait, please.
You're him.
I am.
I've always wondered what I would do if I met you. That's for...
I know what it's for. Were you in the fire?
I was...
You couldn't have been more than...
6. When the fire ran through, my mother gave me my baby sister, and I crawled through an opening in the tin and got out. I used to curse that opening because it let the cold wind in, but it was the thing that saved us.
I know there is nothing to be done or said to compensate you or your sister, but please know I am a changed man, and tomorrow morning the deed for the land will be delivered to Mr. Baylor to do as he sees fit, and with it, a money order, enough for both a memorial and a proper church.
You know that...
I know. I shall never set foot in that town. I know I am not, nor ever will be, welcome. Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas. Oh, Christmas Day has come this morn. No time for sadness, ne'er to mourn. 'Tis on this day we sing this song.
Jacob Marley steps forward and watches.
Rest easy, my friend. I miss you and wish you were here to witness the fruits of your suffering.
Scrooge exits as Marley watches on. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 5, To Keep Christmas Well. Fred's house. Fred, Judith, Tony, Maria, Richard, and Patricia are all standing around, each with a drink in their hand.
He said Christmas is a humbug as I live.
All I'm saying is if we were to introduce him to me, I believe I could cultivate a laugh out of him.
Humbug. You celebrate Christmas your way and I'll celebrate it mine.
There's a knock at the door. Fred goes to answer it. He steps back when he sees who it is.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Please, come in. Come in.
Fred, I know this is a bit irregular, but I must thank Judith in person for this scarf. It is truly the warmest accessory I have ever owned. May I?
Of course.
Judith, please accept my most humble apology for the lateness in my gratitude for the scarf you knitted for me. It was the only thing I could find this morning, these flowers. Imagine that on Christmas Day, nonetheless. Merry Christmas, Judith. Merry Christmas, all of you.
Merry Christmas, Scrooge. Is he ill? Should we be concerned for our guests and the children? Should we call a hospital?
Oh no, he's quite sane. Quite sane indeed. Fred, Judith, I owe you an apology for rejecting your request to be your guest, and I am eternally grateful for your refusal to give up on me.
You're most welcome, Uncle. Whatever condition has beset itself upon you, I hope it's a terminal one.
A condition of eternal merriment and celebration of Christmas, my nephew. You see, I have truly seen a vision of what I have been missing.
Yes, Uncle. Hello?
A wonderful vision, accompanied by a spirit brimming with merriment and a delicious bread smothered in tomato sauce, meat, and mozzarella cheese, all cut in strips.
You don't say.
I do say, my good man.
Tony Maniscalco, Sr., pleased to meet you. Maria, you go get me a piece of paper and a pencil, please. You were saying, Mr. Scrooge?
I'm not sure what has gotten into Fred's uncle, but be prepared to gather the children and run for your lives.
I'm prepared to defend you ladies with my life. Fred, are you all right? You look as if you've seen a ghost.
Was he wearing a robe and a green t-shirt?
No.
Was he tall and terrifying?
No, it was Fort Armstrong.
Oh, what did the theater want? It's Christmas Day.
Apparently, an anonymous benefactor rang the bell like a madman until the manager came down.
What did he want?
To deliver an envelope full of money.
A bit eccentric on Christmas Day.
It was enough to pay for the next season. A Christmas miracle, I'm afraid. Here. Please gather around and fill your cups. I would like to propose a toast to Uncle Scrooge. Uncle, it has taken years of persistence to get you here, but the joy of having you here almost overwhelms the joy of the day. To you, Uncle, and the many Christmases to come in the future, which we hope to be blessed to have you on our table. To Ebenezer Scrooge.
Hear, hear. A Quad City Christmas Carol, Chapter 5, To Keep Christmas Well. The next day, December 26th, at Marley and Scrooge, the clerks are all at work. Scrooge stands in the doorway of his office, checking his wristwatch and the door. The clerks glance from Scrooge to the door and back again. Bob Cratchit finally enters quietly, trying to sneak in. Scrooge lets him get almost to his desk.
Bob Cratchit?
Good morning, Mr. Scrooge.
Are you aware of the time? Perhaps a bit too much feasting yesterday?
The trolley was late this morning, Mr. Scrooge. Perhaps the driver was celebrating a bit too much yesterday.
Yesterday was yesterday, and today is today, and tomorrow is tomorrow.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge, that would be true.
Now, the first order of business of the day. Did you and your clerks deliver those notices Christmas Eve?
We did, Mr. Scrooge.
And you have all of the addresses you delivered them to?
I do.
There was an error in the letter, Mr. Cratchit.
With all due respect, Mr. Scrooge, the letter was written precisely as you drafted it.
That may have been the case. However, I wish for you to make enough copies of this letter stating the error and the correction.
Therefore, as a result of this error, Marley and Scrooge wish to provide a 3-month stay on your mortgage and encourage you to consider refinancing your mortgage during that time for a more competitive rate. We again apologize for the inconvenience caused over the Christmas holiday and wish you the best of luck in the coming New Year. Mr. Scrooge.
That is item 1, sir. Item 2 for the day is for you to calculate a raise for you, for all of you, of, let's say, 10%.
Mr. Scrooge.
You drive a hard bargain, Cratchit. A 15% increase, then, and not a penny less. Did your wife tell you?
What's that, sir?
Ah, good woman, your wife. Which is why I've invited her this morning for the third announcement.
Mary? Tim?
Yesterday morning, I presented your wife with a check to cover the entirety of Tim's surgery at Mercy Hospital, Bob, as back pay for the past 7 years, and if it's not enough, please let me know. It is my hope that Tim is a blessing for all of us for the years to come.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. Oh, Mary.
I wanted to tell you, Bob, but Mr. Scrooge wanted to surprise you in person.
And that he did. Thank you, Mr. Scrooge.
No, thank you, Bob Cratchit. Now, the final announcement of the day to all of you. Beginning next December the 24th, Marley and Scrooge will close precisely at 12 o'clock p.m., to be followed by an office party. Yes, that's right. I know about your Christmas Eve party, and will no longer neglect my duty as a boss to celebrate Christmas with all of you.
Yay!
However, to begin the tradition, a toast to Jacob Marley, my partner and best of all, friend from the beginning. To all of you, for all of the years you have tolerated working here, it is my hope that you will stay and reap the rewards of your patience. Finally, to Christmas. While it is a bit late, Christmas is to be worn throughout the year and toasted as such. To Christmas.
To Christmas.
To Christmas.
Scrooge was good to his word, becoming a man, as the Quad Cities would call him, who knew how to celebrate Christmas well. He became the uncle to Tiny Tim and to the rest of the Cratchits, and a father figure to me and my family for many years to come.
God bless us all, everyone.